Whoops, forgot to press a button, but like magic, here we are doing something we've never done before. We're going to do a track I don't believe we've ever done before. No. We should be able to hopefully pronounce correctly, having our Chicago accents with Naas. Is that about right, Tom, or do I got that wrong?
I'll go with it.
Yes, indeed. Well, it sounds like a pretty good. We've never done this track before, right?
No, we've not.
So what was the occasion to do it on this Foreign Friday?
Why not?
It's never a better reason I have ever heard in my life. Why not? I can't imagine.
Not to mention next week is the Grand National and Dubai.
So it should be fun. The roller derby of horse racing, and then Dubai, big bucks. So it should be a lot of fun next week. Looking forward to that. Why not? I'm sure that's gotten many a man behind bars and probably a few children as well. All right, Thomas. Well, we're going to do Naas. We're going to start off. Well, let's first bring up what the track looks like here. I read it's not all that far from Dublin in Ireland, so that's pretty interesting. Been around for, what, about 100 years now? Is that about right?
I think it's 100th anniversary is this year.
So my math is not that bad anymore. Left-handed, I don't know if there's anything as a left-handed or right-handed track, but I did read that it goes up and down and that you better be fit, because it sounds like the last half a mile is uphill. So no horses that don't have their fitness in order are probably going to win. Would you agree with that assessment?
I would think that would be the case. You better have some gas left.
Yeah, you better save something. So if you're out front and you're pressing some hot fractions, you could be in trouble for sure. All right. Before we get started, free track every day, some free picks at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There's a link in the description. On this Friday, the free track is Fauner Park, which I believe is in Nebraska. Thomas, is that right?
Fauner is in Nebraska. That is correct. Grand Island.
Grand Island. Never been there, but I've been to Nebraska. Very long drive through on the way to Colorado. All right. Well, let's get going with our races today. Starting race 2, far above the compass. Stallions handicap, Thomas. This one is a 5-furlong race for 3-year-olds. Going back to our map, they're just going to run straight down the hill a little bit. Well, for the first furlong, and then the next furlong, the next half mile, next 4 furlongs, all uphill, straight run, straight up the hill, just like us old timers going to school, Thomas, except it wasn't snow both ways. Is this like
we would hope not, but you never know.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be wet there and yielding. So
yeah, I'd be very surprised if it isn't a unforgiving track, shall we say?
A slog for sure.
Yeah, I would think so. And
with that in mind, as you say, who you got?
Well, I did the wrong race.
You didn't do race 2. You sent the races to me.
I think I did race 1. Yep, I did race 1.
All right, well, why don't you do race 1? I'll do race 2, right? Race 1 is 6 furlongs.
I can't read damn writing. I mean, I just looked at the horses and I'm going, yeah, you had up on the board. I'm going, no, I screwed up something here.
All right, well, I'll take this off. I'll make a quick new banner. So while we make that new banner, Thomas, I don't have any picks for race 1, so we'll just call it a bonus race.
Well, I think we'll compete against each other, race 1 and race 2. You know what I mean? And the difference is I'm going 6 furlongs, you're only going 5. But we're still in straightaway. So if you want to call it straight, I mean, we'll see. I'm going to start with Rath Branch Church is number 3. Is going to be my top choice. Returned to the races last time, and he did okay. Ran at the Curragh, ran 7th out of 13. He was a lukewarm favorite at best. 4-1 is pretty good odds for a favorite. He didn't produce, but I think he ran okay. He made some steady progress at the end, and let's see what 6 furlongs brings him this time around. Number 13, My Girl Scout, is going to be my next choice. She's ran in the money in her last 3 starts, and they were at Dundalk. Dundalk, of course, is the all-weather course in Ireland. It's the only one, too. She only won once in her career, but I looked at the rest of the horses and what was there, and she's in shape. It's just a matter of whether she's going to like that soft yielding going. That's really the big question. But she does like the all weather, so I had to put her in there. And finally, I'm going to do number 1, White Clover. She won her maiden race at 5 furlongs in last October, and she only raced 8 times, so did finally figured it out. Of those 8 races, she's also been in the money 4 of those. So, okay, her lone victory was on the soft surface. So maybe that's what she prefers, because a lot of the other ones were on good to firm, except one. But, we'll see. Straight course, okay. Outside post position is just going to depend on the way the track is playing. And the bias will definitely be interesting to see, because we will not know until they run this race.
And then when race 1 is done, which
you may have a better idea what the bias does.
Yes,
you're also great.
I don't know that bias, but I do know that when Tom sent me the email, race 2 was the one we were going to start with. So that's we kind of prefaced that one already. The far above at COMPAS Stallions handicap. So with that in mind, Thomas, I know you didn't make your picks, but I did mine, because I follow the instructions.
You are a lot smarter than I am.
Yes,
apparently.
Just unwilling to color outside the line. So I'm one of those kids, right? The teacher said, "Oh no, this one." Anyway, Stiora, expecting her to go to the front and stay there. I don't know. That's the best idea when you go up 4 furlongs up the hill at the end. But heck, if you get to the hill first and you're just in as good a shape as everybody else, they're going to have a hard time catching you. Then I have Island Girl. It's my second choice. Much better than those Island Boys. Have you ever seen those clowns on YouTube? Oh, my Lord. How do they make money? Island Girl, anyway, best races were when the horse came off a little bit of a rest. That's what's happening here today. Unique Journey. Is that really supposed to be a U? And I put an I in there. All right. Well, I thought maybe there was some little crafting, spelling playing going on there. But this one's catching a pretty hefty weight break. Best runs were always when the track was wet and heavy. That's what we're going to get today from the 4-horse, or on Sunday anyway. I think I got it right this week. And then finally, the 1-horse, Gazelle d'Or. This one comes with some success at the track, but I'm not so sure that this one likes when the ground gives a bit. So maybe, I think it's going to be the favorite, but maybe the horse will do better with a little bit firmer footing. So I forgot to do the predictor with yours, Thomas. Let's do the predictor with this one, and then we'll go back to race number 1. Well, it looks like there's a runaway winner. Eric Locke. Yes, that one didn't make my picks at all. So there you go.
That's why it's a runaway winner, right?
Yes. Well, last week my top pick won the last 4 races, and that was without any odds. So hopefully we can do that again without any odds here. Let's see what the predictor says for Thomas in race number 1. Looks like a very competitive race. No runaway winners, but Kathleen Croy. Didn't sound like that name was in your list there either, though.
Was it?
Rath Branch Church.
That was my top choice.
Yes, looks like that one will be dogging it out at the end for second. Maybe we can come together now, Tom, on race number 4. Is that?
Well, we're going to certainly try, because we are skipping 3. I know how much you. Well, part of I think my reasoning was I was trying to skip the maiden, but I got the numbers wrong. Well, the 3rd race is definitely all maidens, and I know how much you like doing those.
Oh yes, well, I actually do good here in the States because I have a way to rank them. I just don't have a way to rank them over there. It's just a guess, right? So, I mean, that's probably...
If it's Aidan O'Brien, you probably should think about the horse.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said...
Let's put it that way.
An educated guess. All right, so this one is going to be 7 furlongs, so they're going to get away from that straightaway, and they're going to start over here. They're going to come down here and make a turn pretty quickly, so I would imagine there's some benefit of having it inside post position, or maybe not, because maybe that turn's a little tight. Would you rather be inside or outside there, Tom?
I think I would rather be a little out, middle to out side. Based on the betting site that I read, they said that really the long races are the ones where the inside draws have a bit of an advantage. So the shorter races, it appears that it doesn't seem to matter.
All right. Well, without a track post position bias, we're left to pick the horses that we think are the best and are going to get the best trip, Thomas. So, in the end, which one will that be for you?
I'll start with 4. Love Billy Boy. Last race was just recently on the 16th, and that's why I think he's the one to beat, because he missed by a neck at the Curragh on soft conditions at 6 furlongs. The biggest thing with him is last race was he got a slow start. He does get a weight penalty because he's going to go up in weight for this race because he's dropping a little bit. But he's done okay. I mean, he's been in the money 12 of his 16 starts. He likes to win occasionally, but not all the time. And I just go off that last race. Keep the same jockey up and see what he does. 12, Garrett's Gem is going to be the next choice. Hasn't raced since October. Going to be coming in, but did come in off a layoff on the yielding course and won on a layoff. So it's always interesting to see. Drops back in distance today, which is interesting. I think he can make a reasonable first effort again. My only concern with him was that his 2 races that he won were at Cork. So his travels have not been much, but the distance appears to be okay. And, we'll see. Finally, I'm going to take 2, Aaron Orr is my next choice. And Orr is interesting horse because its last race was over the hurdles. So you can bet that was a much longer distance than today's race. Ran second in it, though, so it's pretty good. And the race before that ran 1.25 miles on the all-weather and won. So I went through its past performances, and this is the shortest race it's ever run. But he's 7 years old. He's had some successes. He won 6 times out of his 32 starts. The other difference is the last 2 races were with a new trainer. So I'm scratching my head going, what's he up to? He goes a distance race on the all-weather. He puts him over the hurdles. And now he is going to run him in a shorter race on the soft turf. Interesting.
You know what they call that, Tom, right? Throwing bleep against the wall, hoping something sticks.
Possibly. Yes.
That's the training angle for sure. Hey, I have the throwing the bleep against the wall, something hoping sticks in my pick as well. I'm going to start off with number 10, a little bit of a long shot. Face the puck out. You got to be very careful with the pronunciation of that one, but it is a long shot. At least I think it will be. That's run fairly well at the Naas track. 7 times out, got a couple of wins and 4 thirds. So if my math is right, that's 6 out of 7. And I think almost all of them were on wet ground. So track, likes the footing. Why not at a decent price? One that we agree on is Love Billy Boy. As you mentioned, Thomas, last time out, just missed. That was by a neck, catching a little bit more ground today. So maybe enough to get that neck in front of the other horse. And I expect a little bit better performance in round 2 off the sidelines. Mercurio, the 7 horse, is my 3rd selection, catching a decent-sized weight break today. And I think this is, the kind of Tom horse. He always puts in a really good effort. And other horses are going to have to beat it. But a little bit of upside, and it could find its way to the winner's circle. And then N-Or, as you mentioned, Tom, that horse is always running longer races. So fitness should not be an issue whatsoever at all. And I suspect as they're running up the hill, this is the one, he's jumping over stuff. What the hell is a 4 furlong incline? It's going to be like running downhill as he's closing in. Those are my picks. Let's see who the predictor picks. And looks like there's a runaway winner in this one too, Thomas. Storm Averted, yes, a name that neither of us mentioned. So you can circle that one as a single in your vertical tickets. Let's move on to race number, what's this one? Race number 5. That's what's going on next for you and me, Tom. This one is, let me just pop the right banner up on there. Race 5 is the Ron McKnight Memorial Handicap. Any idea who Ron McKnight is, Tom?
Somebody?
Well, he's Ron McKnight.
He must
There
be
you go.
dead because it's a memorial.
Yes, indeed. He's the Irish version of Ronald McDonald. I have no idea. Could well be. But this one's going to, probably right now, I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. Probably some great statesman or something, and I just compared him to a clown. But nonetheless, this one's going to be 7 furlongs again. They're going to be up here, going to come back around. As Tom noted in his research, that outside might have a little bit of edge on the inside at 7 furlongs. Again, the last half mile is uphill, so fitness is going to be very key in every one of these races as they make their way to the finish line. And when they get there, who will be standing tallest?
I'm going to start with number 1, Codylicious. Her last race was in November. It was at Newmarket, and she just missed by a nose at 6 furlongs. She won at Sligo in August on the yielding ground, and then she raced at Naas, and the jockey reported that when she hit every ridge, she seemed to slow down and then speed up. So kind of inconsistent. A little bit of a concern on mine, but she did finish 5th in that race. But interestingly enough, the horse that won on her previously returns for the ride. So I think that will help. Next one is going to be Serengeti, number 2. Won last race at Dundalk. This was a distant race, and he looked very solid. In Leopardstown, he ran in a race where he finished 3rd. And it was over this distance. It was on a little softer surface. In that race, he ran on the front end. So completely, it was at his will. The other note you should notice on this one is that it's trained by Aidan O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Which will probably account for the odds.
Probably, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. And then I'm finally going to take number 5, Tangapore, as my final choice. Won his last race by over 4 lengths in October on the front end. And this race was on the heavy ground. He's finished 3rd in the all-weather. He drops a little in distance here. And he has one thing he's done in all his races is speed.
Mm-hmm.
So if he likes that little bit of give in the ground, that may give him an advantage. And let's see if they can run him down, because I think he'll be out front.
Yeah, I have him as a pace setter as well. And you pointed out, Tom, does he like to give? I was trying to look through here, and everybody else was basically a closer or a PC type, in that they tend to be more middle back, but every now and then they're in touch with the leaders, as they note in the comment section.
Yeah, Serengeti only has 3 races, but the last one it went where it was.
So Tangapore smoked around the track in the only off race. Going to be up front and can catch some soft fractions, get that turn first, and giddy on up that hill. Wire to wire, maybe. East Hampton to its inside, my next selection. Lone Trip on a yielding course. By far, its best effort. Codylicious, the one horse. Just wanted to say that, Tom, for whatever reason. Does have a tip as well. That was yours. So they've already updated the site. The horse came out in its debut, kind of flopped a little bit, not unusual for a lot of horses. And since then, really nothing but good works on the track. And then monotone, some accuse us of talking like that. I don't think that's the case, Tom. But the biggest class dropper in this field, coming out of an even effort, not the best, not the worst, in a group 3. So maybe a little cutback in class can be the answer for monotone. Our predictor will tell us who it thinks is going to come home first in the Ron McKnight. Well, again, another runaway winner. Viking, and all these runaway, we never have any of these horses. What's going on, Thomas? Viking Invasion.
Yeah, he was cross-entered. He was entered in 2 races in this race, and going to run on this one. And when we get down to the last race, there's one that was cross-entered.
Well, I hope I don't have that guy in my picks. So far, I haven't had any predictor picks. I don't know what's going on there with the predictor, just trying to run contrary to what you and I are putting on the board today. But usually we beat the predictor, so don't worry too much about that. It's the Toad Irish EBF DEVOY Stakes. It's a listed race for horses that are 4 years old and up. This time they're going to go a long way. 1 mile and 2.5 furlongs. So 1 mile, 2.5 furlongs. I can see why the inside horse here would have a little edge. You got that little sharp turn and then another sharp turn and then another sharp turn. So this is kind of like well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, but there's really a third, a third, a third. So probably 2 full turns, but a lot of little sharp movements to the left. Tom, I fully expect that to give horses to the inside an edge. Is that what you read?
Yep, that's my understanding. But again, never done this track before, so it's going to be interesting.
We're about to find out. And this, by the way, is on Sunday. I know last week I said, yeah, when the show's over on horseracingtoday.net, I'll post all the picks and stuff right here. I got to work putting them in on Saturday, expecting the horses to run Saturday night through Sunday morning. And then I went and looked, and the results were out already. And I was like, what the hell? I'm always confused. I'm not so confused today, Tom. These horses will definitely run on Sunday morning, our time, right? Just want to make sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, as do I. But all right, Tom, when they're done running, preferably on Sunday, I will post the information on horseracingtoday.net. While you're there, there is a link right there for HRT Gear. Please click on that. It's baseball season here in the United States. Tom reported the pitchers and catchers. Unfortunately, he was the last cut for the Brewers, not to be a relief pitcher. But you can get yourself a Horse Racing Today baseball shirt. You can align it to close to your team's colors. So I know you like the Brewers, Tom. So there's a blue and white one for your liking. Certainly for the next 5 days, you get free shipping. And, of course, it's a great way to help support the show. Thomas, help support the show by picking a winner.
Going a long shot to start with. I'm going to take number 2, Dawn Rising. Ran last in November, and something went seriously wrong because it lost by 26 lengths, finishing 6th. The race before, though, it won a Group 3 at the Curragh. Both these races were on the yielding ground, so this is a horse, 8 years old. He's been competing against some really good horses at marathon distances, and now they're kind of playing, because you go back in his past history when he's earlier racing, he was more in this distance range rather than 2 miles plus. I think this is either a tightener for him, or they're thinking, okay, age, maybe he wants to run a little shorter, and he's obviously can do it. Running a Group 3 last year at 7, so that's not chump change.
Mm-mm.
So we'll see what he can do there. My next choice is going to be Sun Chart, and Sun Chart is number 6. And last year he placed 2nd in a small field in a Group 3 race. That was at Tipton. Historically, he's performed pretty good at this distance, and some of them even longer. But his record is odd, to say the least, because he's got 35 starts. He's won 3 times. He's finished 2nd 12 times. Guess where I have him for?
2nd.
2nd.
Yes. He's the Phil Mickelson of.
Again, he likes these distances, so this is right up his alley, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I'm going to take Dallas Star as my final choice, and then he's going to come in here after layoff. He's got number 1. He ran off at a layoff. He went on the front end at Dundalk and won. He's shown promise in other races. He's won a novice. He won a Group 3 on soft yielding going. And then the owner and trainer caught the Derby bug and decided to try to beat City of Troy. And it was 44 lengths behind. Probably not a good thought.
Well, I mean, nothing lost for trying.
Some money, but that's about it. I think this is a better spot listed race for the horse than trying to run in a Group 1 against City of Troy.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I don't know that mine is running, my top pick here, because I had Bavarius in there, or Bravius, whatever. No odds. So nobody's bet on that horse yet, or I'm leaning towards more like scratched. But if it were running, if it does run, I don't know what's going on there. I feel like it is the best horse in the race, but it's been off for more than a year. If he's ready, according to the odds, it looks like he might not be. If not, Trust Your Instinct is ready to run. That's 7-2, second favorite, it looks like right now. That one's never been off the board in 6 races at the distance, 3 wins, 3 seconds. And typically its best races come in the second start following the layoff. And that's what we're going to get today. So I am indeed trusting my instinct. And I bet you that one shows up. Maybe not a runaway winner, but that one will show up in the predictor. Next up is Uncanny, the 10 horse at 11-1. Just make him the 10-1 horse. That way everything kind of fits together. And it's our good friend Private Ross Cryptic Code. This one may well be what I call a hidden horse for the course. The only time this horse ran at Naas, it won by 5.5 lengths. The track was yielding, and that's what it's going to get today. And then finally, you mentioned the Sun Chart horse, Thomas, having a goofy record. But what's even goofier about that record is you said it has 3 wins. One of them was at Naas. And you mentioned a dozen second-place finishes. 3 of them at Naas. And that's only in 5 races. The last time this horse ran at the track was coming off of a rest. The horse is coming off a rest today, and it won by 6.5 lengths. This is indeed, I think, the definition of a horse for the course. We'll see to what degree the predictor agrees. Only 2 horses going to be in this race. Trust Your Instinct. And then Dallas Star. The other ones may as well not even run, according to the predictor. Those 2 horses are miles ahead of the rest. All right, the last race we're going to do for today, Thomas, is race number 8. We're skipping race number 7. 2. You did already mention that next week.
What kind of horses are running in that race?
Maidens probably, I would guess.
You are correct.
Yeah, every now and then I get something right. That's the point of the show. Yeah, we do it often enough that somewhere along the line I can point back and go, look, I got something right. You already mentioned that next week we're going to do the Crash Up Derby, otherwise known as the Demolition Derby, otherwise known as the Grand, what's it called? The Grand National?
Grand National.
And then the Dubai.
One's at Aintree.
And then the Dubai World Cup.
World Cup, yeah, well, I think that's self-explanatory.
Yes, lots of money at stake for that one. You're not going to want to miss it. The best way to make sure you don't miss anything that we do here on Horse Racing Radar TV is look down below. You see scrolling bar. You can subscribe while you're on YouTube. Hit the subscribe and the like button. If you're watching on X or Twitter, whatever it is you call it, make sure you follow us there. Share our content by is it re-Xing now or retweeting? I have no idea. But whatever it is,
you can do make a paper airplane and throw it. Probably work just as well.
Yeah, and you can write on the inside, hey, watch Tom, Rich, and Terry for the horse racing picks. Monday, Tuesday, of course, we're at Parks. Next Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be at Gulfstream Park as we prep for the Florida Derby. Tomorrow, of course, the Louisiana Derby, $1 million race, as well as the John Ruby Stakes.
First.
Jack Ruby Stakes.
The steakhouse.
Down in Kentucky somewhere. Both of which are
the infamous Turfway track.
Have you ever eaten there?
Track to drive you absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's just like a slot machine. Just the numbers come up. You're probably better off doing that anyway. Random number generator. Have you ever eaten there?
Yeah, I have, but in Lexington.
Was it any good?
Yeah, very good. Nice.
So there you go. So Jack Ruby Steaks, even though I screwed up the name, think about sponsoring the show. We can use some sponsors. If you're watching and you want to be a sponsor, hit me up. GTSRichB@gmail. Hit us up in the comment section. DM me, whatever you want to do. All right. Last race of the day, 1 mile. The supplements you can trust race. Can you imagine if they had a race, the supplements you can't trust race? That one might actually be better, but that would be fun.
I wonder what the supplements do.
Well, they're for the horses. It's how they win.
You never know.
Yes, indeed. But they're made for horses, but given to humans. All right. So 1 mile, they're going to come down this long backstretch, make that turn in. I would think that when you get to that turn, you probably do want to be middle out because it does look a little bit tight to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but as we pointed out, neither of us has really bet or watched races here before, so it's all going to be new. So next time we do Naas, we'll be better prepared. With that in mind, Thomas, last time at a new track, how are they going to line up when it's over?
I'm going to start with 5. Trinity College is my top choice. Wayne Lord has rid this horse in all of its 5 starts, and it's got a win and a second. The standout race to me was its win at Galloway. Won it over the yielding surface, and it went out the favorite and won by 12 lengths. His final start of the season was a second place finish in a Group 3 at Leopardstown. It's trained by Aidan O'Brien. I'll let you figure out the rest. Number 1, Acapulco Bay. That was the horse I mentioned that was at cross-entered, and this is the race they decided to go in. He's my choice in this race even before that. He's has 2 starts and a win, and he won it on the good ground at a mile at the Curragh. The other race was a 7-furlong race. He finished second, again on the good to firm going. So soft would be a concern. No, he's by DUBAWI. He liked the soft going, so I don't think that's a problem. And frankly, we'll see. He could be a really good horse. Who knows? Final choice is going to be 3, Green Triangle. Ras ran in a Group 2 at Leopardstown, and he was beaten pretty badly at a mile, 12 lengths beaten. His racing results are mixed. He was good races, and then at Kearney, he decided to go crash the rail on the inside as the favorite. Well,
good decision.
He's run second in his first career start, so that's coming off obviously first. So I'm going to throw him in here and see if he can stay away from having problems.
Yeah, if he can stay away from the rail, it would be a good start. Well, I would guess that somebody named O'Brien's got a really good chance to win this race. O'Brien. 4 of the 7 horses. So if somebody not named O'Brien wins, you might get paid pretty well. I am not going to go against O'Brien. I'm going to go at Acapulco Bay as my first choice in there. It's an Aidan O'Brien horse, as you mentioned, Thomas. It is taking a pretty good sized, I think, upward movement in class, but I think Aidan O'Brien's a pretty good judgment of where he should place his horses. Green Triangle, that's the other one they mentioned, the one that likes to bite the rail. Fair enough effort, though, in a Group 2 last out, so a little step down. Trinity College, that's a local school for us, I think, right, Tom?
No, it's the big school in Dublin. I actually know.
There's one here too, no, right?
Who went there? And they
like
the fact they could drink.
I'm sure. Isn't that like, I mean, if you can't drink, you can't admit to being Irish, can you?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, you have to claim you're some other. Anyway, very 2 solid group runs in his last 2 races. I mean, that alone is probably going to give it favorite status, but I'm a bit concerned that it may not like running a mile. It's done it twice and has not hit the board. Maybe some other distance. And then finally, 1 Smack Mac, a non-O'Brien making the picks in there. 1 Smack Mac, the lone race at this track, Naas, was an easy win. So again, maybe one of those hidden horses for the courses. And for the last time this week, the predictor will tell us just how wrong we are.
And we've lost our mind completely.
I don't know. No, there he is. We are wrong.
We've lost our mind completely.
Yes. Despite, I mean, we did 6 races today, and in only one of them did we have a horse that was at the finish line first, and all the other ones, it was a blowout win for a horse that neither of us brought to our attention. But hey, that's what the predictor's for. If we overlook something, the predictor will make sure we don't miss it. That's why we love the predictor and its lousy picks. All right, Tom.
It's our cross to bear.
Yeah, it's our quality control for us. The next week again, the Grand National, and then the Dubai World Cup. So some very big, important races. Make sure you tune in for that.
And I pick more than 3 horses too.
Next week, though, yeah. So that's a really special occasion.
Grand National, since I usually bomb out anyways, I'll do 5.
What is there? 50 horses in that race, so you could take.
No, they reduced the field from 40 to 35.
Yeah,
but they pay through 5 places usually.
And by the time they make it to the third hurdle, it's down to like 5 horses because everybody else has fallen off theirs. It's quite the endorsement for all the folks out there that are anti-horse racing for sure. And then the Dubai World Cup, we'll be doing that. Monday, Tuesday, we'll be doing parks again, Terry and I. Wednesday, Thursday, Gulfstream Park. Getting prepped for the Florida Derby, which is next Saturday. And the Florida Derby, Tom, I would think in recent years has become like the key prep race for the Kentucky Derby. I think quite a few of the winners of the Derby have come out of the Florida Derby. So make sure you tune in for that. And over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, where we have our free picks every day, we will have a Florida Derby wagering guide. You'll be able to get that there. Free picks, the link in the description on YouTube or wherever you found us. Again, a little bit later on, I'll post all of our picks and our thoughts in a race replay video right here. It will say, unlike last week, Naas picks, you'll find that, a race replay here, along with all of our commentary below. And I will timestamp in the video all of the races so you can come back and watch them individually. I promise I'll get that done by Sunday because I know the races are actually on Sunday this week.
And then it's on Sunday morning too.
You get up and have something to do. Start making a few bucks as you watch your NCAA tournament brackets crash and burn so you can make back some of your fees with our picks. Any final thoughts from you, Tom, before we get up and get out of here and start enjoying our interesting weekend in Chicago where it's 70 one day and 3 inches of snow the next?
It's been fun. The biggest thing with this track is kind of an unknown because I haven't really looked at it. And we look at Leopardstown and the Curra, occasionally some of the other ones, but never this one. So I figured, why not? Yeah, plus, next weekend's a slightly different level. It's not Parks, but it's not.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
Well, the first race might be Parks but not really.
Yeah, the Arabians. Yeah, right.
I love Parks. We just joke, but they do a great job in Pennsylvania because they
can't complain.
You have 7-8 horses in just about every race, some more, and they got 9-10 races every day. It's the antithesis of what's going on in California. All right, folks. Well, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this weekend until we get back together again, Tom and I next week for the Grand National and the huge Dubai World Cup, or Terry and I for Parks and Gulfstream as we prep for the Florida Derby. Of course, don't forget this weekend, a big race with the Louisiana Derby. A lot of points at stake. It's basically win, and you're in time for the KD. We'll have all of our picks over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Until we get together again, we hope that you have God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing that you do at a track we've never done before ends up in
the winner's enclosure.
Indeed. Make it a great weekend. See you Monday.